Hey everyone! So today I had originally planned to film a favorites video, but my gut told me to go with this instead. As a lot of you may know from my life update video and my Instagram, I'm in the midst of a lot of changes right now. Moving across the country, saying goodbye to people that I love, hiring someone new, and also dealing with my views being down on YouTube. Change is something that can be many things. It can be exciting, stressful, boring, and mysterious. And if there's one thing that I can say with confidence, it's that I've been an absolute mess during this transition. My feelings have been all over the place, and I'm actually feeling anxious today. So if I sound like a little nervy, that is why. And it's because when you see this video, my move will have already happened, but at this point when I'm shooting this video, it is just like 5 days away. So I'm just really gearing up to high points of anxiety here. And for me, change also brings up a lot of fears and really painful things from my past. I've cried and I've cried and I've cried some more, and then I've cried even more on top of that. It's crying because of the past. It's crying because of gratitude. It's crying because I'm uncertain about the future. Crying because I'm gonna miss so many of the people that I love that are here in California. And I've definitely had my nights where I'm just laying in bed freaking out. Now, in the midst of all this, I have been learning and relearning some really valuable lessons. 3 lessons in particular that I'd like to share with you, because after I opened up on Instagram recently about, just the emotional side of going through a big life transition, I got so many messages from people, especially in their late 20s, expressing to me how difficult this season of life has been for them. I really wanted to make a video that focuses on what's going on here, and here. So, in your body, your mind, in your heart. These things may seem really little and simple, but my hope is that these little things will have a big impact in your life over time with practice. And these are things that I am having to learn and relearn and practice every day. And in the immediate term, I hope it helps you to feel less alone, no matter where you are right now. Like I said on Instagram, whenever I'm feeling down or stuck or just unsettled, I always look for what I can give. And this is what I have to give today. Planning is great and it can be immensely helpful, especially in a time of transition. But I've discovered that I also need to leave room for the unknown. And this is actually advice that I have received from some of you through the messages that you have sent me during this time. And I think this advice is so wonderful because I think it's good for me to be acknowledging that I don't have all the answers. I'm going to have to leave space for the things that I don't know and the things that I can't see coming until they're right in front of me. And sometimes that might come in an inconvenient or even painful way. What I've noticed is that planning really becomes a disservice to us when we're aiming for perfection and we're using it to shield us from pain and suffering. As someone who considers themselves a perfectionist in recovery, I can point to countless moments in my life where I have thought that doing things perfectly and planning would protect me. And as it turns out, it doesn't. Like when I was afraid to leave the house without a full face of foundation on because I thought my acne and my acne scars made me less than everyone else. Something like this may seem trivial to some people, but I think this is really a little moment that has such a big meaning to it, because what I learned from that is that I wanted to be more comfortable in my bareness. And so in the midst of experiencing some of the worst acne in my life, especially in my early 20s, I started not wearing any makeup and just going outside and letting the world see my bare face. What I've discovered is that the quest for perfection actually shields us from the love and care that we deserve, to be seen and accepted as we are by ourselves and others. I have found that when I surrender to the things that I don't know and I try to find a place of friendly acceptance, it opens up the possibility for me to receive the help that I need. So coming off the back of not knowing everything and opening yourself up to the help that you may need, asking for help is something that we sometimes have to do. And last year I actually took this personality test where it told me that my lost childhood message is your needs are not a problem. And that is something that resonated with me so much because it has just always been hard for me to ask for help ever since I can remember. And sometimes asking for help can be really hard, especially when we live in a culture that places so much value on independence and being self-made. And don't get me wrong, those things are really valuable and can be great in their own way. But we also have to acknowledge that no one can get through this life alone. We as human beings thrive on connection and we need help from other people. And I can't believe that this is coming from me because, asking for help is something that is a continuous practice for me. And it is so hard for me because when I ask for help, it can make me feel like I'm insufficient and a failure. Like pretty much every time I ask for help, like I'm feeling that somewhere inside of me to varying degrees, and it's definitely kind of lessened over time, but it's still there. It's a work in progress. Asking for help is something that has always been immensely difficult for me because it can make me feel like I'm stupid, like I don't know enough, that I'm insufficient and I'm not capable of taking care of myself. But when I really step back, I have discovered that that's not true. It's just impossible for anyone to do everything by themselves and to also know everything. It's just not gonna happen. And what I've also discovered is that not only does asking for help spare me from a lot of headaches, it allows me to connect with and learn from people who oftentimes dazzle me with their knowledge, their ability, and their generosity. What I try to do is look at asking for help through this lens. When I ask for help, it allows someone else to shine, and it allows me to tell myself that it's okay to receive those gifts. Not too long ago, I was talking to a friend who recently went through her own really big life transition. She also moved across the country and went through a lot of changes. And she gave me some really great advice. She said, be gentle with yourself and be patient. She talked about how moving to an entirely new city was a huge adjustment, leaving friends, family, familiarity behind, and having to cultivate a whole new community in a whole new place. This is advice that has really stuck with me because as I've been in the midst of this change, planning the move, finding a new place, worrying about how I'll make friends in a new city, I've definitely had moments where I've been impatient. Moments like just wanting the move to be over with and trying to fast forward in my head to having my place put together really quickly and wanting to skip over the awkwardness that comes with meeting a new person. It's just something that's inevitable. Even if you really click with someone, you still have awkward moments, and I'm just finding myself being impatient in those ways. So as much as I want to be hitting that fast forward button, because let me tell you, it is very tempting to just live in that fast forward world, I've been slowing it down and bringing it back to where I actually am. And when I do this, I realize that these are all things that I actually don't want to rush. The move is happening when it's supposed to happen. I want to take time and care decorating my new place, putting it together so it can be a space that is nourishing and replenishing to me, because my space is really important and I want to take time in putting it together and not feel rushed. And friends are really, really important to me, so I don't want to rush the process of getting to know new people. And something that my friend told me is that it's gonna take time. Like, all of those things will take time, and especially meeting new friends, because you know, you have to get to know someone and it's starting over from scratch, and it can be really hard, which is why it's so important to be gentle and to be patient with yourself. Slowing things down and listening to that deeper voice inside of me has really helped me find comfort on this new path that I'm taking. All right, so those are the 3 lessons that I wanted to share with you today. And I just want to say that even when we don't notice them, changes are happening literally every day, moment to moment. The world, our bodies, our thoughts and feelings are constantly in flux. Understanding this doesn't make the fear and anxiety around change go away. It's just that, an understanding. The acknowledgement that it's always there and that sometimes life presents change in bigger, more visible ways. And that's okay. Finding that place of okay, neutral and without judgment, I kind of see it like, okay, change, I see you and I'm here for this. I think that is the place where transformation is born. Thank you so much for watching this video and for all of the messages that I have received. I am just so overwhelmed by the kindness, the advice, the generosity that you have extended to me, and I wanted to give a piece of that back to all of you. I will see you guys next week. Bye.